John here with Dumbest D&D, and we're taking another look at a tool for Tools Tuesday. And this DM tool is Kobold plus Fight Club. Now, this was based on Kobold Fight Club, previously a Google Sheet that was one of the best in the biz, but this has been extended into a web application, so a lot easier to use and some updates. The filtering, pretty nice as well. Now, essentially what I use this for is I love using Kobold plus Fight Club for a quick assessment of how an encounter might play out, trying to find that balance of what is too many enemies versus what is not enough enemies. And this gives a quick assessment of that. There are always going to be some variations, and you can adjust that in game. You can either remove one, you can have somebody run away, like all these different ways to adjust as the encounter is happening. But Kobold plus Fight Club gives you a great sense of how you're going to approach combat. It is based on the CR system, and so you may see some things where you're like, well, that doesn't make sense, but it's all based on the calculations, the challenge ratings that are given in the monster manual, and everything else. When we look at this, you can either choose light or dark mode. I tend to prefer dark mode, so I'm going to keep it this way for now. We're not going to get too intense on what we're actually trying to do here, so I'll go ahead and get these out of here. I currently am running Ghost of Saltmarsh. I have 3 level 7 players, and so with this, say they're coming up against an aboleth. And so toss that in there. Immediately, we see that the difficulty is going to be deadly for 3 level 7 characters. If you don't really know what you want, you can also just generate an encounter. And so it's going to pull a couple different enemies in, and based on how that result is, you can see, okay, the difficulty is deadly. I'm going to be a little more specific about it, though. And so we have an aboleth, and there's a juvenile kraken that's in there as well. So Kraken, and that's not quite what I want, but it also seems like it doesn't have that. If I look at manage sources, though, it has every supplement and every community piece in here. So if we enable all of these, enable all of those, enable this, it's even got Flea Mortals in there, which is pretty cool. And enable official adventures. Ghost of Saltmarsh isn't in here, so we're not going to get that piece, but that's all right. And then I'll go ahead and enable all of that as well. So we do get the Kraken Hatchling from Monster a Day, and there's also Kraken Spawn. So we're going to add Kraken Hatchling in there as well. And I can get a sense now, what level does the party need to be at before this is an encounter that they might be able to get through. So if I put 20... Okay, so level 20, it drops down to a medium. Kraken Hatchling is really the issue here with the CR12. So if I remove that, now it's a trivial encounter. But that is a way that you can go about building these. Now, if you have a specific monster type that you like, you can say, all right, how many goblins can this level 20 party go through? I'm going to change this to 50 per page. That way I can just scroll, and we'll just go to basic CR 1/4 goblins. How many? You can see we get to 50, and that's easy. As we get 75 and 80, still easy. All right, medium now for level 20. So if we have 100 goblins that are fighting with these guys, if they're level 15, that becomes deadly. If they're level 1, that's obviously very deadly. If we go to 18, it's a hard encounter. So level 18 party, 100 goblins, that's going to be a hard difficulty. But you can see how the controls work here. And with monsters, if you're not sure what you want, this is where you can say, okay, I have a certain setting in mind. Let's go with the woods. I want the woods to be where this is going to take place, a native environment. I can change that to forest. Creature type, let's go with beasts. And then size category, I have some huge minis, and so I want to use those. Okay, from there, you can see what the different CRs are. You can adjust that as well. Say, let's go between 8 and 12. And the Fortress Rhino, right? Tyrannosaurus, Chameleon, or the Moss Mammoth. Any of these are options. I'm actually going to bump this back out, and we will keep all of the official... Go ahead and disable these just because I'm more familiar with the standards. And All right, if I expand that a bit further, giant ape is an option. So we'll go back down to that party of 4, level 7, 1 giant ape, pretty easy. 2 giant apes, though, deadly. And this is where some folks will point at the CR system and be like, see, it's broken. Like, it's broken. It shouldn't be this way. I don't disagree, because there's a lot of different ways that it can go. CR tends to just be a quick way to say, okay, here's how we can assess this. And Kobold Plus Fight Club, again, is really just that quick assessment of, here's an encounter that I'm thinking of, here are the enemies that I'm thinking of, the creatures that I'm thinking of, against a party that exists. It doesn't tell you anything about the party makeup, like, oh, it's all casters, or, oh, it's all barbarians. That is always going to be a factor, and so this should never be, well, this said it was going to be an easy encounter, and suddenly a giant ape has TPK'd your party of bards. It is what it is. It is a tool, so it is a way to get a quick idea of how an encounter might go. Okay, so we'll get rid of the giant ape. Let's change size category. We don't care about that. Creature type, don't care about that. I really think the native environment is one of the best pieces, though. So coastal, on our site, dumbestdnd.com, you can also search by native environment or location. And so if we have a coastal encounter that we want to roll with, we'll go ahead and reset the challenge rating, 0 to 30. And we'll look at, let's say, some monstrosities. All right, so Kraken Priest, Deep Scion, Skulk. I don't really know what a Skulk is, but let's go ahead and roll with that. So half, if we have the 4 players at level 7, and we bring in a Kraken Priest as well, we can adjust this and see how many it can handle. So let's say the Kraken Priest is going to summon the Skulks, and we have 8 Skulks that can pop up, and it assumes that this is all at the same time. Like, there's nothing in here about waves, so it's not. The Kraken Priest will summon 3 of these at once, and then through the waves, it'll be created. It's more all at once, all things considered, all CRs combined. This is a deadly encounter. So there's a lot of different ways that you can wiggle this, but as a tool, this is one of the best in terms of setting up your encounters quickly and getting an understanding of where you may want to finagle it a bit further. Best part is all of this is just code that's available online. Like, the GitHub repo is public. If you want to know more about why things are in a certain spot, you can look at stores, for example. That's where all of the monsters are going to sit. That pulls from a JSON file. So public, JSON, and monsters. This is the document that contains all of the monsters that it pulls from. Well, shouldn't say all, most of, because it also has third-party monsters and then community monsters as well. So community monsters really starts to get pretty deep into all of the things that have been generated by the community. But yeah, you can get a sense of how all of this is laid out and why. So where every piece of data comes from. So CR, size, type, tag, section, alignment, environment, AC, HP. There's a lot of different things that you can look at with this. And again, just a huge fan of Kobold Plus Fight Club. It is created by 2 individuals, Axel and Adam, and they've had a few contributors over the year to it. They've done a really great job with this tool, and I think it is still one of the standards. To be honest, I've never used the alignment chart here. I don't care that much about it, but if it is something specific to your game that you think will be helpful, by all means, you can filter down all the way to this degree if you need to. So that's another DM tool. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, let me know in the comments below, and let me know what other tools you might be looking for. I'm always on the lookout for new tools, and this is a way for me to try them out myself, while also letting you know what I use as a DM at my table. Until next time, roll high, stay ridiculous, and thanks for watching.